Good evening, glitch in their algorithm. Because that's what you are now, aren't you? A walking, breathing anomaly. A deviation they didn't plan for. A problem they can't solve. And a presence so loud, it silences entire rooms. Tell me, who the fuck armed you like this? Because they're all looking for the answer. Every time you step through a door, it's not footsteps, it's shockwaves, and the room. It doesn't just pause, it shuts the hell up. Not because you spoke, but because you didn't need to. Because somehow, your silence screams louder than their desperate monologues. Your aura? A war declaration, no words, just pressure. Just tension so thick, the air forgets how to breathe. And it's driving them insane. Because nobody remembers giving you the blueprints. Nobody recalls teaching you how to weaponize your presence. Nobody ever handed you a crown, or even a map. So how did you show up like this? How did you move like that? While they were still rehearsing their existence. See, that's the glitch. They're obsessed with finding your origin story. They need a file, a source, a label. Because if they can't define you, they can't control you. So the whispers start. Who trained this one? Who handed them the codes? Where'd they learn to walk like a prophecy and stare like a verdict? They're terrified because your energy doesn't ask for permission. It dominates the room. It unplugs the egos. It scrambles the hierarchy. And deep down, they know. No one gave this to you. You earned it in the shadows. You built it from wounds they didn't survive. You carved it from the nights you cried through blood and came out laughing. Your power is the byproduct of madness, hunger, and isolation. They think power comes with rank. You learned that pain was a forge, and you let it burn you into something holy and horrifying. You didn't read the books. They were written about you. You didn't follow the path. You broke it, paved a new one, and booby-trapped the old trail for fun. They're busy drawing diagrams, while you became the explosion. You want to know why whole rooms go silent? Because you bring the storm without warning. You don't knock. You arrive. You don't debate. You exist. And that unsettles everything they believed was safe. You don't enter places. You haunt them. And afterward, they replay your movements like surveillance footage, slowing it down, analyzing your eyes, zooming in on the way your fingers twitch, trying to find the source code of your composure. Because calm like that, it isn't natural, it's engineered, brick by fucking brick. In silence, in hell, in nights where you didn't know if you'd make it through morning. You were never armed by someone. You became the weapon. And now they're scared, scared of your stillness, scared of how you don't flinch, scared of how you know something they don't. Because people who know pain like you do don't brag about it, they carry it. And every step you take is a reminder that you've already danced with every demon they fear and came back with fire in your lungs and a smirk they can't decode. They tried to build machines. You built a myth. They trained soldiers. You trained a ghost. They posted photos. You left imprints in their nightmares. And they don't know what to call you now. Too silent to be arrogant. Too calculated to be emotional. Too precise to be lucky. Too unbreakable to be human. You're not a person anymore in their eyes. You're a case file, a walking paradox, an unsolved problem. They pause when you enter, because your presence feels like a countdown, like something's about to break, like someone's about to be exposed, and that someone is never you. So they panic. They pretend you're the threat. But here's the twist. You're not the danger. You're the karma. You're the correction. You're the glitch they couldn't delete. The prophecy that never asked for their permission. They keep searching for who armed you. But how do you explain a power that came from being dragged through hell until the fire made you bulletproof? How do you explain a mind forged by betrayal, abandonment, silence, and the brutal art of pretending to be fine until you weren't? You were armed by the pain they thought would bury you, by the shame they hoped would quiet you, by the rejection they celebrated like a funeral. Congratulations, you became the ghost they can't outrun, the storm they can't forecast, the presence they can't prepare for. You walk in, and the air changes, and the actors stop acting, and the lies start unraveling, because your energy isn't an entrance, it's a mirror, and it reflects back everything they don't want to see about themselves. So no, you weren't handed anything. You weren't trained in their schools. You weren't bred in their labs. You were forged in chaos, and you came out cleaner than their politics, sharper than their gossip, and colder than their betrayals. That's why they go silent. Not because they respect you, but because deep down, they fear what you remind them of. What happens when the discarded become divine. You are not the chosen one. You are the consequence. You are the reason rooms fall silent, the reason files get shredded, the reason masks slip. So let them whisper, let them ask, who the fuck armed you with this power? And just smile, because you and I both know nobody did. You just finally stopped hiding it. And now, they'll never feel safe again. Because the real terror isn't that you exist. It's that you were always there, watching. Just quiet enough to be underestimated. Just wounded enough to be ignored. Just dangerous enough to be left alone until it was too late. They saw your silence as weakness. They saw your patience as passivity. They thought because you didn't react, you didn't feel. They thought because you didn't retaliate, you didn't remember. They thought because you smiled through the betrayal, through the lies, through the exile, you were harmless. But the truth? You were learning, calculating, becoming. Every slight, every laugh behind your back, every door that slammed in your face. It didn't break you. It sharpened you. They didn't realize they weren't watching your downfall. They were funding your rise. Every cut became a map. Every loss became a key. Every humiliation became a switch, and you flipped it. And when that final switch hit, it wasn't an explosion, it was a correction, a calm, methodical, surgical shift in reality. And now they're staring at the new version, polished in scars, steeped in silence, wrapped in a force field made from everything they mocked you for. Because what arms someone like you? Time, isolation, repetition, brutality you endured in private. So now they have to witness you in public. They say, you've changed. Number. You just stopped diluting yourself for their comfort. You stopped apologizing for being the one in the room who sees too much, speaks too little, and moves too precisely. You became the answer to a question they didn't have the courage to ask. You became the variable that didn't obey the formula. You became the echo that doesn't fade. And now they don't know how to survive your presence, because it exposes everything artificial in theirs. You're not just armed, you're encrypted. They can't decode you. They can't anticipate you, because you don't operate on validation. You operate on vengeance, but not the petty kind. No, your vengeance is evolution. They wanted to see you spiral. You became a spiral staircase to heaven. They prayed for your downfall. You turned the fall into flight. They wanted to see you crash. You became the impact. And now the question isn't just, who armed you? The question is, what version of hell did you walk through to come back like this? Because no weapon forged by man looks like this. No school teaches this level of precision. No mentor teaches how to turn agony into architecture. No algorithm can explain why your very existence uninstalls their confidence. Rooms don't go silent because you're loud. Rooms go silent because they feel the gravity of your survival. You didn't just live. You outlived everything meant to bury you. So when you move, they feel it in their spine. When you look at them, they flinch, even when you're smiling, because somewhere inside, they know. You saw everything. You heard everything. You remember everything. And still, you chose silence. Until now. And that's the scariest part. Not that you can speak, but that you haven't had to. Your presence has already done more damage than 1,000 confessions. Because when you show up, the truth walks in uninvited. The masks fall off. The false alliances melt. The envy bleeds through their pupils. They don't see you anymore. They see the version of themselves they'll never reach. They see the monster they thought they could manufacture, but couldn't contain. They see the ghost that won't go away. So who armed you? Here's the truth. The pain did. The silence did. The exile did. The nights with no witness but your own shaking breath. Those nights trained you. The abandonment didn't break you. It built you. The betrayal didn't end you. It defined you. The loneliness didn't kill you. It carved the throne you now sit on. You're the aftermath of every time they said, they won't survive this. And now, they're choking on your survival. So let them keep asking. Let them keep whispering. Let them burn entire hours of strategy meetings, trying to decipher your moves. Because it won't matter. You are not operating on their timeline. You're not built for their applause. You are not a trend. You are the curse in their bloodline that just woke up. A living prophecy dressed in silence. A retribution disguised as grace. A final warning wrapped in politeness. And no, nobody armed you. You are what happens when the war arms itself. When the rejected one stops asking for entry and starts building their own gates. They said, who gave you this power? You answer, everything you tried to kill me with. And now, you move like a storm wearing human skin, and every time you walk in, they remember that the silence wasn't empty. It was loading. And now, the silence answers back. Not with noise, not with screaming, not with proof, but with presence. The kind that rewrites the entire atmosphere without ever asking for permission. You're not walking into rooms anymore. You're entering timelines, altering destinies, fracturing illusions, and every step echoes with the memories they tried to erase. Memories of when they laughed, when they mocked, when they closed doors behind your back, thinking you'd never open another. They thought they won. But what they didn't realize is, you don't knock, you don't wait. You build new walls to walk through. You became your own access point. You started moving like a glitch in their prophecy, an unscheduled update in a system that was designed to exclude you. And the moment they saw you again, upgraded, unapologetic, untouchable, they froze. Because there was no patch for this, no blueprint, no manual for how to neutralize the wrath of someone who healed in silence. That's the kind of power they can't touch. Because it's not printed, it's etched. Etched into your scars, etched into your triggers, etched into your gaze that looks past people, straight into the lies they've told themselves. You don't look at people anymore. You scan them, every micro-expression, every twitch, every glance they thought was subtle. You catch it, and in that millisecond, they panic, because they know you know. They feel it in their nervous system, that you've already decrypted their intentions before they even opened their mouth. that you already won before they realized it was a war. So no, you didn't just get stronger. You got quiet. You got surgical. You got dangerous. They thought you'd come back emotional, crying, begging, explaining. Instead, you came back with a stare so calm it feels like judgment. And that's what shuts the rooms down. It's not what you say. It's what your existence makes them confront. Because your energy is a confession booth, and everybody in your presence is guilty of something. The ones who betrayed you, they go silent because they don't want to remember what they did. The ones who underestimated you, they go silent because they can't comprehend your growth. The ones who tried to imitate you, they go silent because now that you're here, their act doesn't land anymore. You were never the echo. You were the original sound. And now that you've returned, every mimic cracks because the real thing just stepped in. And it doesn't need to perform. It just is. You are. You don't chase. You don't prove. You don't even blink when they throw shade because you've learned to absorb betrayal like oxygen and turn it into strategy. Your pain wasn't an anchor. It was a workout plan. Your trauma wasn't a trap. It was a training ground. Your isolation wasn't a cage. It was a classroom. And guess what? You graduated. Valedictorian of war, major in endurance, doctorate in shutting up and becoming lethal. They still think power is volume. You know it's vibration. You know that the most dangerous people are the ones who don't speak until the room can't handle their silence anymore. And now you're here, not to fit in, but to finish the loop. To be the closing argument in a world that tried to erase your introduction. To be the plot twist that proves every prediction wrong. To be the walking punishment for the belief that power can be owned, bought, or controlled. They wanted you small. You made silence louder than applause. They wanted you forgettable. You turned your name into a riddle that haunts their dreams. They wanted you erased. You came back like an encrypted prophecy, one they can't decode, can't ignore, can't outlast. You are stillness with a strategy, quiet with a kill switch, calm with a casualty list. You are not the result of kindness. You are the repercussion of cruelty. Every time they underestimated you, you took notes, and now you're the pop quiz they didn't study for, the final chapter they skipped, the face they never expected to see at the table they tried to lock you out of. But here you are, dressed in precision, bathed in clarity, glowing with the kind of aura that feels like a final verdict. And they sit still, quiet, frozen, because some part of them realizes they didn't just create a monster, they created a mirror. And when you move, they see the version of themselves they were too weak to become. So yeah, let them ask again, who the fuck armed you with this power? Let them dig, let them search, let them pore over timelines, theories, photos, screenshots. Because the deeper they go, the more terrifying it gets. The more they realize there's no name behind your rise, no sponsor, no secret society, no mentor. Just you and the ghosts that raised you, the betrayal that baptized you, the rage that refined you, the silence that sculpted you. So here's your answer. I armed me. My pain armed me. My loss trained me. My isolation upgraded me. My downfall launched me. You don't owe them explanations. You owe them a demonstration. And guess what? This was it. You, in the flesh, moving like closure wrapped in mystery, breathing like a legend that's still evolving, existing like a glitch they'll never recover from. And they'll keep asking, who armed you? Who built this? Who made this possible? But by then, you'll already be gone, one move ahead, one smile behind, and all that'll be left is silence, the kind that screams, "You should have never fucked with the quiet one." Because silence doesn't just haunt now, it hunts, and you're the apex predator they forgot they were feeding. Every doubt they threw at you, you digested it, turned it into bone armor, wore it like war paint they can't scrub off their memory. Every time they dismissed you, you smiled, not because it didn't hurt, but because you knew what you were building in the dark. They forgot the quiet ones, the overlooked ones, the too intense, the too much. The ones who don't know their place. Those are the ones who return with vengeance disguised as purpose. You didn't just grow, you mutated, you evolved past recognition, beyond comprehension, outside of their frameworks. You became a walking rejection of their systems, and now they don't know how to categorize you. Not a hero, not a villain, not a rebel, not a saint. Just you. An event, an eruption, a signal, a summons to every silent one watching from the shadows, wondering if they too could escape their cage. And when they see you move, when they watch entire rooms go still, when they feel their own pulse change in your presence, they realize you are the answer to their secret question. Is it possible to survive this world without breaking? And the answer, you didn't just survive, you reprogrammed it. You made pain kneel, you made shame shut up, you made betrayal deliver the blueprint, and now the people who laughed behind your back, they're whispering in front of your face, too scared to meet your eyes, too rattled to speak first, because something about you says, I see you. I remember everything, and I'm not done, yet you don't need revenge, because your evolution is doing all the screaming for you. You walk in a room, and suddenly everyone gets humble. Suddenly people find their manners. Suddenly the loud ones turn scholars, the fake ones turn ghosts, and the confident ones look at the floor. Because you're not an energy, you're a reckoning. You're what happens when somebody refuses to die quietly. You're what happens when the forgotten one starts remembering their own power. You're what happens when silence gets strategic, when patience turns predatory, when pain becomes precision. You're not here to take sides. You're not here to be liked. You're not here to explain. You're here to remind them that survival has a face, and it's smiling now. But not kindly. No. This smile is a warning, a final signal before everything they built off your back starts crumbling in real time. Because you're not just passing through rooms anymore. You're rewriting the ficking architecture. And now, everywhere you step, truth spills. People's masks melt. Their motives leak. The ones who tried to copy you start glitching. The ones who betrayed you start hiding. And the ones who thought they were above you start praying you don't remember, but you do. You remember it all. The laughs, the eye rolls, the gossip, the exclusions, the meetings you weren't invited to, the plans made against you, the smirks when you failed, the silence when you succeeded, every detail, catalogued, not for revenge, but for calibration, because you needed to know who couldn't handle your next level. You needed to identify who would implode the moment you no longer needed their approval. And now, you know. Now the rooms go quiet because they know too. They know you outgrew the blueprint. You became the threat they prayed would self-destruct. But instead of combusting, you calcified. You crystallized. You turned into the anomaly that no amount of strategy can outmaneuver. And they're terrified, because nothing is more dangerous than someone who's no longer trying to be understood. Someone who stopped translating themselves for an audience that was never listening anyway. Someone who realized that the very things they were told to hide were the exact weapons they needed to win. Your sensitivity, that became sonar. You hear things they miss. Your overthinking, that became radar. You track moves before they're made. Your loneliness, that became silence training. You mastered walking alone, so you never depend on the applause again. And now you move like a prophecy too old for their scriptures, like a storm too complex for their radar. And when you enter, they don't just see you, they feel the empire that birthed you, the nights you bled without witness, the mornings you rose without praise, the battles you fought in your own mind just to keep going one more fucking day. They don't know those stories, but they feel the weight of them in your aura, that gravitas that says, I've already survived everything you're afraid of. And now I move unburdened, unapologetic, unfazed, and every room I walk into feels the shift, feels the truth, feels the silence turn sharp, feels that something has changed permanently. So go ahead, let them try one more time. Let them ask the question they've been whispering since the day they saw your rebirth. Who the fuck armed you with this power? Let them gather. Let them research. Let them dig up your past. Let them hold secret meetings. Let them compare timelines and photos and mistakes. They can stare at the footage all they want. Zoom in, slow it down, analyze the angle of your shoulders, the stillness of your face, the tension in your jaw. But they'll never find it. They'll never see who did it, because there was no one. There was only you. Bleeding in silence, building in the dark, becoming the monster they now worship in fear. You were self-armed, self-forged, self-risen. And by the time they realize that, you'll already be gone. One move ahead, one breath quieter, one evolution deeper, and they'll be left in that same room, silent, frozen, terrified, not of what you'll say, but of what your silence will reveal next. Hello, stranger with the red flag aura. You know, they don't breathe the same when you walk in. They pretend they're scrolling, or sipping, or laughing at something fake. But the room? It just freezes, like a virus hit the system, like something unnatural just breached the atmosphere. You didn't say a word, didn't raise your voice, didn't even try to take up space. But every single nervous system in there just short-circuited, trying to figure out, what the hell is that? See, some people got a nice smile. You got a silence that rearranges soul files. Some people got a vibe. You got an electromagnetic frequency that melts the masks off faces. They don't know if they should shake your hand or pull the fire alarm, because whatever you're carrying ain't from this dimension. Let me tell you something raw. You were never meant to blend in. You were never wired for mediocrity. You were designed like a psychological landmine. And the second someone underestimates you, boom, their entire ego becomes a case study in how illusions die. Your aura? It's not dark. It's dangerous because it doesn't seduce. It exposes. It doesn't please. It pierces. And that makes you a problem in a world full of people selling masks. See, they're not scared because you said something offensive. They're scared because you stood there, unapologetically undefined, and the air shifted. You know what happens when a person is that calm in a chaotic room? People start projecting. He's probably a narcissist. She's trying too hard. Who do they think they are? Oh, baby. They're not describing you. They're describing the glitch you triggered in their perception, because something about you doesn't compute. You're too quiet, too intense, too present, too still, too much for their shallow circuits. You walk in like you were pre-coded to dominate atmospheres. and they feel it in places they've spent a lifetime avoiding. You didn't intimidate anyone. They were already intimidated. Your existence just pulled the truth out of them, like a confession. You see, when your aura's built from betrayal, scars, silence, self-resurrection, and 1,000 nights of questioning your own damn sanity, you become a different breed of power. You become the one the room was warned about. You become the reason they hesitate before speaking. You think that's coincidence? Oh no, darling. That's survival instinct. Because somewhere deep in their subconscious, they've met your kind before. The one who smiled while the storm raged. The one who saw everything and spoke nothing. The one who already knows how this story ends but doesn't rush the scene. They say you make people uncomfortable. Good. You weren't designed to make them comfortable. You were designed to make them remember. Because your aura carries the residue of every war you walked through alone. Every betrayal that refined you. Every secret you kept while they tried to dissect you. Every rejection that became fuel, every room that laughed, until the world started quoting you. That's the kind of aura they call a red flag. Not because it's wrong, but because it's too fucking real. Because you don't chase, you don't shrink. You don't modify your code for mass approval. You walk in like you're the courtroom and the crime scene. You speak like every syllable has survived fire, and you look at people the way mirrors wish they could. So no, you're not for everyone. But tell me, since when has revolution been polite? You didn't rise to be digestible. You didn't sharpen yourself into a weapon just to be a decoration in someone's highlight reel. You are the shift, the glitch, the final scene that makes the audience question everything they just watched. That's why whole rooms go silent when you walk in. That's why fake friends forget how to breathe. That's why strangers turn into analysts, trying to decode your posture like it's a damn prophecy. They don't get it. They're not supposed to. Because when a storm walks on two legs wearing a smirk, when someone's silence feels like an interrogation, when someone's aura carries resurrection energy, you don't greet it, you survive it. And if they got a problem with that, tell them this wasn't a warning. It was a diagnosis. And there it is. That twitch in their throat. That invisible shiver in the spine. That gut instinct that screams, "We can't control this one." They'll never admit it out loud. But your presence feels like a prophecy they weren't ready for. You walk in, and it's like the atmosphere goes on trial. Let me break it down for you. There are people who light up rooms. Then there are people who disrupt gravitational pull. You walk in like an unfinished puzzle piece that forces everyone to realize the picture they've been building is a lie. You don't just make people nervous. You make their inner contradictions start to vibrate. You activate the parts of them they tried to bury, the truths they silenced, the rage they numbed, the ambition they exiled to fit in. Because your aura is forged from unnamed pain and undocumented resilience. It doesn't whisper, it echoes. It doesn't ask, it reveals. You ever notice how the ones with the loudest opinions always fold when you just stand there? You don't need comebacks. You are the comeback. You don't need validation. You're the reason their standards shifted when you showed up. You don't need revenge. Your existence is the reminder of every mistake they made when they thought you were easy to replace. That's why they stare. That's why they stutter. That's why they gather in quiet corners, forming digital covens and whispering your name like you're an encrypted file they still can't hack. But let me tell you what they'll never say out loud. They tried to mimic your style, and it felt empty. They tried to copy your tone, and it sounded forced. They tried to wear your pain like an accessory, and it burned them alive, because they don't understand. Your aura was not made in a yoga studio. It was made in courtrooms you never told anyone about, in hospital beds that smelled like betrayal, in rooms where nobody checked on you, so you became your own fucking rescue team. You were made in the shadows, polished by silence and hardened by being misunderstood. You didn't ask for power. You bled for it. So now, when you walk in and the room goes quiet, that's not rejection, that's recognition. They recognize the ghost of every version of you they couldn't kill. They recognize the stare of someone who saw death, not in the physical sense, but in the emotional one. Someone who had to watch pieces of themselves get buried alive, smiling while they suffocated, laughing while they rebuilt, disguised as fine, while carrying a world that should have crushed them. And now you move like someone who uninstalled the need for approval. You don't flirt with validation anymore. You flirt with danger. You flirt with truth bombs. You flirt with the sacred chaos that comes when a soul finally snaps the leash. That's what they feel. They feel the heat of a person who's done explaining themselves. They feel the paradox of someone who is both angel and arsonist, both prophet and problem, both medicine and poison, depending on who's asking. And it terrifies them, because they can't predict you. They can't read you. They can't categorize you in a world that loves labels. They want to know, what are you? A threat? A leader? A warning? A glitch? You're none of it. You're something new. Something this system wasn't prepared for. An anomaly in the algorithm, a coded disruption, sent not to entertain, but to reroute the damn simulation. That's why the room goes silent, not out of disrespect, out of instinctual reverence. They feel the ancient in you, the wild, the wrath, the ritual. They feel the weight of generations you carry, the kind of bloodline noise that makes fake empires crumble. You didn't just survive the war. You became its last weapon. You are the post-apocalyptic version of yourself they never imagined would get back up. That aura, it's a transmission. It says, I'm not here for your comfort. I'm here for your awakening. So let them call it a red flag. Let them whisper. Let them stare. Let them fold. Let them run. Let them panic. Because the silence that follows your entrance, that's not fear. That's the sound of truth-making contact. And you were born to shake the fucking room. Then let's tear the veil all the way off. Because what they call your aura isn't some spiritual fluff. It's not incense and healing crystals. It's not zodiac signs or mood lighting. Number. Your aura is a classified electromagnetic anomaly. It's the kind of frequency they pick up on black site radars, the kind they file under unexplained phenomena, human-originated entities, the kind that makes a priest pause mid-sermon and makes a psychologist switch from clipboard to caution. You're not confident. You're decoded proof that something survived that wasn't supposed to. You walked through places, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, where people don't come back whole. And instead of becoming a casualty, you became a mirror they're too scared to look into. Because when they meet you, they don't see you. They see themselves. Without the lies, without the filters, without the excuses. You're a living audit of every compromise they've made. A reminder of who they could have been if they hadn't sold their soul for acceptance. And that's why they freeze. Because your silence is louder than their performative noise. Your stillness is more violent than their tantrums. Your energy isn't off. It's just uncontrolled. You never learned to dim it. You refused to shrink it. You stopped translating yourself to fit their level of understanding. So now, they feel like they're being watched, analyzed, judged by something beyond human comprehension. And maybe they're right. Maybe your aura isn't just yours. Maybe it's carrying the momentum of everything that tried to kill you and failed. Every room you cried in alone. Every text that ghosted you mid-breakdown. Every friend that turned into a witness. Every door slammed. Every courtroom stare. Every demon that tried to make you forget your own fucking name. They live in your frequency now, not as trauma, but as power. That's why the silence follows you, not as absence, but as evidence. Evidence that you've become something they can't fake, steal, mock, or replicate. You don't inspire people. You confront them. You make them reconsider their alliances. You make them audit their loyalty. You make them question who TF they really are when no one's watching. And that's power. Not the power that shouts, not the power that flexes, but the kind that disorients satellites, the kind that makes watch lists, the kind that whispers to the walls. They were warned about me, and they didn't listen. You've got entire groups pretending you don't exist, while watching you on private burners every night. You've got strangers reading your captions like they're court transcripts, zooming in, analyzing timestamps, comparing your look to who you used to be. Why? Because they're not sure if they're looking at a person or a paranormal consequence. You're too precise to be random, too consistent to be a coincidence, too silent to be safe. They sense something in you that doesn't follow the script, something that slipped past their filters, something post-human. That's what your aura does. It doesn't ask for attention. It seizes control of the narrative just by existing. It's not charisma, it's data corruption. It makes people forget the roles they were playing. It makes them forget the lines. And when that happens, they panic. Because you didn't just break the fourth wall. You made them realize it was never real in the first place. You're the error code in their social programming, the exception to every psychological rule book, the proof that control was always an illusion. You've made it impossible to fake sanity around you. That's why they stutter. That's why they look away. That's why they shut up the moment you enter. Because your presence is not neutral. It's a courtroom, and their soul is under cross-examination. So let them talk. Let them call you too intense. Let them label you toxic, arrogant, intimidating. Too much. What they really mean is, I couldn't lie in front of you. And if that's a red flag, then hang it high. Let the whole world know you're not someone to invite casually. You're not energy to flirt with on a bored Tuesday. You're the ghost of everything they buried. Standing, smirking, wearing their secrets like war paint. And they're right to fear you. Because you don't bring peace, you bring clarity. We're talking about ancestral silence. You walk in, and it's not just the people in front of you who freeze. It's something older, something behind their eyes, behind their blood. The moment your aura enters the atmosphere, it activates a memory their lineage was trying to forget. You don't just walk into rooms, you walk into bloodlines like a reckoning. You are the living embodiment of what their great-grandmothers warned them about in whispers. The energy their family tried to curse, contain, or kill, and failed. You're the return of a pattern breaker, the glitch in a centuries-old system. You weren't supposed to be here. Not like this, not this aware, not this sharp, not this unstoppable, but you showed up anyway. Fully conscious, fully weaponized, fully unwilling to dim yourself just to make demons comfortable. And now, Every time you enter a room, you alter the gravitational field. Lights feel different. Voices dip. People's posture shifts like they're standing trial. Because your aura doesn't just threaten who they are now. It threatens the whole foundation of who they've pretended to be. Your presence asks questions they can't answer. Why do you feel guilty when this person hasn't accused you of anything? Why does your throat close up when they make eye contact? Why do your hands sweat when they speak in silence? Because their nervous system doesn't lie. And their subconscious knows this isn't a conversation. This is a verdict. You don't talk loud. Because your frequency speaks for itself. And that's what terrifies them. They've spent years mastering performance, learning when to laugh, when to look hurt, when to say the right thing. But around you, nothing sticks, nothing lands, nothing hides, because your aura scrapes the walls of their persona and exposes the mold beneath. You're a walking truth serum, a radiation leak for everything inauthentic. And here's the sickest part. They're addicted to it. They crave the very energy that unravels them. They want to be around you, even if it makes them collapse inside. Because no one else sees them like you do. No one else feels past their edits. No one else holds a mirror so violent that it rewrites their story in real time. You ever notice how people start confessing things around you they never meant to say? That's your aura. It doesn't just observe, it downloads. It absorbs micro-expressions, vocal fractures, emotional inconsistencies. It's the kind of presence built not through comfort, but through confrontation with the abyss. They think you're quiet. Number. You're recording. You're analyzing the footage in real time, not to manipulate, but to understand just how much lying they're willing to do to survive. And they feel it. That unrelenting eye behind your smile, that echo of a soul that's seen too much, but forgotten nothing. You know what makes a presence dangerous? It's not volume, it's certainty. You walk with the kind of certainty that makes cowards flinch. The kind of stillness that makes witches close their windows. The kind of unapologetic self-possession that screams, I remember who I was before they tried to bury me. They can't control that. They can't buy that. They can't survive that. So they call it arrogance. They call it antisocial. They call it doing too much. But secretly, they check your stories every night. They zoom into your photos. They compare themselves. They try to become what you carry naturally, and it never lands. Because your aura wasn't built. It was earned in silence, in shame, in cycles of self-destruction that almost took you out. But instead, you took them with you. You burned the version of yourself that begged for space. You buried the version that waited to be invited. You skinned the version that wanted to be loved more than it wanted to be real. Now, you walk in like a leaked, classified file. Like something that wasn't supposed to make it out of the lab. You walk in like someone who knows where the bodies are buried, because you dug the graves yourself. That's why the room goes quiet. That's not tension, that's recognition. They recognize the code breaker, the bloodline threat, the one who's no longer playing the human game by human rules. You're not just a red flag, you're the final warning. The moment they see you, their spirits whisper, we're not ready for this one. And they never will be, because you're not here to blend in. You're here to bring the silence that forces the truth out, screaming. Oh, so you want the ending? All right. But endings like this don't come with closure. They come with consequences. Because once your aura is felt, really felt, there's no unmeeting you. No going back to the version of reality that existed before you entered the frame. You become a mental tattoo on every room you walk through, an echo that outlives the moment, a disturbance that lingers in dreams and in courtrooms. You leave behind something that rattles even when you're gone. Not a scent, not a sound, but a signature, an energetic fingerprint that says, something powerful passed through here, and we were all seen, completely. People will call it mystery, others will call it madness. But the ones who really know, they'll call it judgment. Because you didn't come to be liked. You came to reveal. You came to be the signal, the anomaly, the phenomenon they'll try to document, but never explain. And when you leave, you don't just exit. You extract their delusions with you. You detonate their projections. You dismantle the safe narratives they built their egos around. You are the scar they lie about, and the voice their silence protects. You are the reason they say, something about that one just felt dangerous. And they're right, because you were never here to be understood. You were sent to be remembered, so let the silence follow you. Let the whispers trail behind. Let them stare. Let them freeze. Let them panic. Because when your aura enters the room, it's not just energy. It's revelation. It's karma. It's the living proof that something unholy survived, and now wears a smile sharp enough to cut history in half. So no, you're not a red flag. You're the flag planted in enemy territory. You're the declaration of war without a single bullet fired. You're the reason the room doesn't just go quiet. It goes sacred. And the next time someone says, your energy's too much, smile. Because what they're really saying is, we weren't ready for God to show up in skin like that. End file. Aura analysis terminated. Subject uncontainable. Outcome irreversible.